Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name's John, and this is
Debbie.
Debbie. Debbie, not the Debs.
No.
No, we'll go yes. Well, yeah, right. Anyway, this is going to be a ranking of the six original Star Wars movies on 4K. Hello, it's just me coming in to say I don't know I said Star Wars, but I meant Star Trek. I'm going to say that a lot of times through this video. So back to the video. And we watched these, well, I would say quite a few months ago, and we've been, well, really invested in them. And we'll have to say off the bat, there is no ones that we don't dislike here. It's not we're going to put the one at the bottom. It's we still like it, but it's the one that we enjoyed the least, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to go through now. I haven't told Debbie what.
Don't want to say Deborah.
Well, I will. I haven't told Deborah what order I've got mine in, and Deborah's not told me, mainly because you probably don't even know what order you're going to put them in. But bear with us because this is first time for Debbie to ever,
To Evie.
for Deborah to rank anything. So she might struggle. So I might struggle as well because we're trying to remember what was actually in. There's a few plot twists in here we don't want to give away. If you've never seen these movies before and you want to try them out, I urge you to try them out because Deborah, you didn't really want to go there, did you, with Star Trek when I originally
No.
thought? So you had a misconception that Star Trek would be, what did you think it was going to be?
Confusing because I don't really tend to like. I like things like Star Wars and stuff like that.
So
But
you think you like more enjoyable sci-fi as opposed to ones that are a bit,
yeah, like
you know,
Doctor Who, I can't get away with.
it's not that bad. Well, you watched it last night. I don't know what you. Anyway, so
Yeah, no,
that's
but I just come from the match. I was tired, so I couldn't be bothered to argue to turn it off.
yeah, but you did watch it though. That's the thing. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'll ever review any Doctor Who's, but I quite enjoyed it. It's good to see them writing actual good stuff in Doctor Who again, as opposed to writing stuff that's pretty much awful. So we'll take these on reverse order from six to one, and what we'll do is I've got them laid out here, and I'll go first, and I'll tell you what my least favorite is, even though I do like it, and I'll explain kind of, if I can remember what it's about, I'll explain a bit about what I liked about that movie because I think that all these are very enjoyable, some more than others. I don't know if my original ranking will change from what it was. I can't remember exactly where they were. I know what I had at number one first time around, but this time around it might change. And I don't know what Deborah's, I'm getting confused with the name now. I don't know what Deborah's listing will be. I don't think she knows what will be, but I will say that my number six on this ranking is Star Wars 6, The Undiscovered Country. This is the one where James T. Kirk, what does the T stands for?
I can't remember.
It's not Tommy, Tiberius. Remember? We've all had this conversation in all of them, haven't we? So anyway, this one here would be it's not my least favorite because I do enjoy it. It's the one where Kirk and McCoy, just gonna get retirement age, and it's probably well past that. And they say, right, we're gonna retire, we're gonna head off, and they get framed for the murder of a Klingon, a Klingon
Where's me ladders?
chancellor. I've got written down there, and it's about them trying to clear their names before they kind of shuffle off to what they're going to do next into their old age. So that's where I've got number six. So over to Deborah, to say what her number six is.
I would say it's number 5, which is the God, the one with God. It was very confusing. It was a bit silly. I don't like silly
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it was a bit of a daft one, a bit of
Yeah,
a comedic one. Yeah, for sure. So you think that that was your least favorite out of the lot?
yeah, I would say number 5.
This might upset a few people, but it's close with the one I've got in place for probably number four. I'm going to go Star Trek 3 is number fifth. Now, this is, I know, this is going to get really crazy. Now this is,
No, but you can't have a number fifth, can you?
can I not?
It's a fifth.
Yeah, right. So my fifth one is Star Trek 3. This, but this one here is it's a good movie. I did like it more than I enjoyed it on the first one. The first time I watched it, I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, when I watched them on Blu-ray at the start of this year, and I said, Debbie, you've got to see these movies. Now,
Oh, yeah. Mm.
please. So anyway, this one here, without any spoilers, they're searching for Spock, clues in the title, and they go back to this planet because it's this Genesis device that they've got in another movie. It's kind of repopulated this planet, brought it back to life, and it means that things grow on this planet, and Spock kind of grows on this planet with without spoilers, not saying too much. I just found that this one was pretty good, but I like the banter between all of the crew, and I think when you've got all the crew firing on all cylinders like that one, that's when it comes to life for me. So at number five, I'm going to say I've got Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. So you enjoyed them all, though, didn't you?
I did, but I'm gonna put. I wouldn't have said there was a 4K thing.
So not even on the first two are by far the best two on the 4K.
Yeah, but I don't understand enough about film, as you know, to make because you're saying like the print is really, really good, but
What the print's good
sure,
and
a
all,
novice.
but I would say the last four have various discrepancies in the print. They're not as sharp as one and two have been kind of really remastered recently, whereas the other four haven't.
Mine fifth one is number three as well.
And what was your take on that movie? I know you're going to say I can't remember anything about it, but it's interesting to get our minds wiped when we watch a movie because sometimes that happens. A film, shall I say? But
No, I'll just tell you why that is.
oh,
Because John, we watch all these, and then we've started Star Trek, which I agree to, and now we've stopped Star Trek in the middle of it, and we're now onto the $6 million man,
yes.
which obviously
Well, the Six
like
Million Dollar Man,
you
the
never
Six
finished
Million
the
Dollar
series.
Man. Briefly to touch on the $6 million man. So your number three was your number five was Star Trek 3. Well, we'll take Star Trek 3 out of the mix now because we've both done that one. To talk briefly about $6 Million Man, we think, well, I'm speaking for you here, but we think it's a really good series. One that, if it wasn't 200 quid on Blu-ray, I think we probably would have got. But the TV is showing them out of sync, isn't it? They're showing
Yeah.
them all over the place. And we got to a certain point with the double episode of the introduction of the Bionic Woman, which was brilliant. Uh, and we thought, hang on a minute, there's a few there. There's a one with George Foreman in it. We haven't seen that one. There's one with the $7 million man, where this person gets, there's a new robot in it. So we've got to go back and we've got to find a few of these ones that we haven't seen. So that's why we're stalling a little bit on $6 Million Man. But once we've finished $6 Million Man, we'll go back to Star Trek, the series, the original series, and then we'll do a ranking. And then won't we? All 900 episodes of them. It's a hard one to call because I really do enjoy this movie. I'm going to say Star Trek 5. I just found it so funny. It was so stupid, wasn't it? The whole when they meet God thing, and Kirk saying to him, "Excuse me," isn't he putting his finger up to talk to God? And there's more to it than that. But this fella who's supposed to be Spock's half brother, it says he can speak to God and he knows where God is in the space of like space and time. So there's that going on. I think I might have got into trouble for that, for like talking about that issue, like that person. But it's not that simple. So yeah, I'll say my number four is Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier.
So my number four is going to be number six. Although I did like it because I do like David Bowie wife
Yeah,
in it.
Amon was in it
Marvelous.
as a type of
Like
spa-
shapeshift.
shapeshifter, which was a bit bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, there's loads of things in these movies that are bizarre, but that's what makes them quite amazing. What I do want to talk about is on here. You remember the director's cut on here when the sync went out of sync? Remember when it went massively out of sync? Remember?
Right.
What we did was we stopped it, and then we'll put it back on at that point, and the sync went great. So if you have got the 4K here and you do spot going out of sync, do stop it and restart it at the place you left it, and it will play properly. I think it's because there's a director's cut here and a theatrical cut. And I think what they do is, Deborah, and you back us up on this one. They do the seamless branching, Deborah. You're a big fan of seamless branching. And what they do is they kind of borrow from bits and pieces to make the ultimate cut up on the disc. Remember? And yeah, so that's why this one goes a little bit wonky at times. But just stop it and start it again. That's where he'll get round that. Don't take it back to the shop and say it doesn't work. It's a bit off, but you can put it right. So that's your number 4, Star Trek 6. This is probably going to be 6 hours long. At number 3, I've got Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I thought I would when I originally saw it, but on the second time I watched it, I think I watched the director's cut, which I didn't see on the other version on the Blu-ray, and enjoyed it a lot more. I think that the battle between Khan and what's his name? He's called Khan Nguyen Singh. So there you go. You knew that, didn't you, Deborah? And the battle between Khan and Kirk is quite good in this one because Kirk's losing his mind when he realizes that Khan's behind all the carnage of these ships getting exploded and whatnot, isn't it? Because he's a bit of a bad lad. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time around. So my number 3 is Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
That's going to have to be mine. So again, is Star Trek number 2.
You remember when it was quite a not a gory one, but it was more. Well, it's the only one that's a 12 in here. All the rest of them are PG. So yeah, but I thought the 4K on this one, because I know you're a big fan of the 4K medium, Deborah. I thought the 4K on this was really good. Um, 1 and 2 are the best for the 4K if you're thinking about getting these on 4K. Now I do know that these took ages to come down in the sale. I got them in a sale, kind of, but they were 17 quid each. But are probably going to be for 30 now, I think. Although I haven't looked at them for quite a while. But you don't when you bought them all. So that's your number 3, Star Trek 2. And I'm debating which one to go for. Because on a certain day, it's one of those ones where on a certain day, they can be interchangeable. But at this point, even though I really enjoyed this one, it was such fun. Number 2 is Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. This is the one where they go back to um, the Earth at in 1980. When was it from? 1986. They go down there, and there's Spock's got to wear this headband so his ears aren't shown, and and Kirk gets himself a girlfriend, isn't she? And who's on about saving the whales. Something's going to blow up everything, isn't it? So they've got to get a whale sound because it's making whale sounds. This thing, they've got to get whales to go and speak to this thing, haven't they? Which I mean, come on, the storyline in this has got to be one of the daftest storylines ever, but really enjoyable. And they've got to find the plexiglass when they're looking for the plexiglass. Remember? And they're trying to invent this glass to store this glass to store this wheel on the ship, the Enterprise, because all the plexiglass is too thin. So they give the bloke who's inventing plexiglass this stuff so he can do this really reinforced stuff. And this bloke says he can't do it. He says, "Well, we'll tell you how to do it." Well, you know what I mean? Come on, it's just nuts. I think that's why I like it so much. So at number 2, my number 2 is Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
So my number 2 is no. My number 2 is going to be obviously going to be the opposite. I'm going to go for the first one. I did think it was really good, and I did like the how they did the twist on the. I can't remember. Did they like cut when they found the ship? The first 3 letters were missing. They called it A. Oh, I can't remember it. To be honest.
Auger.
Auger.
Yes, Auger.
Yeah.
I think wasn't it?
And then when obviously when they moved the rest, like cleaned the rest of the ship.
Would you not think that was the most highbrow of all of them? It was the most like um, kind of like sci-fi one. And I mean the time we watched the
Mm.
director's cut. The time it took for them to get that ship out of that dock was about 20 minutes of just going round it and round it and going, oh, that's nice, that's nice. It took them forever, didn't it? But I didn't mind that. I like a nice, slow Star Trek movie. The rest of them are really fast paced. I think a lot of people didn't like the fact it was slow. I thought when I originally said to you, try it, I did think that you would struggle with the first one because the rest of them are more user friendly. This is a bit more, but the banter between the crew is the thing that is the best thing about the whole Star Trek thing, isn't it? You know how
Yeah,
Spock,
the pauses.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, what's Kirk like in the TV series? Honest, he's just he's so good though, isn't he? You know,
Yeah, it's good.
his strangeness, and McCoy's good as well because McCoy doesn't like Spock, and Spock doesn't get anything because he's too literal, takes everything literally, and he doesn't understand humor or anything. So, and then Scotty, he's always trying to create some kind of get him out of problems in about 10 seconds, and he gets all the rubbish, doesn't he?
Mm.
But my one is Star Trek 1 for all the reasons I've just talked about. When I put this on, I watched the shorter cut because the short cut's on Blu-ray. This is the new extended one with rediscovered things. It's got all the special effects that have been changed as well, but they don't look bad because they look quite good. They don't like it being stuck on. They've like changed all this the look of it as well, which I think they've done a really good job. And for me, this is I don't I think I used to I think I watched this not at the cinema, but I saw this on TV and I thought it was okay. I like the fact of them coming back after such a long time being away. I used to watch the TV series religiously. Did you?
No.
So that's my number one. I think it was number one the last time I looked at it, but Star Trek 4 is very close to being my number one. It could be my number one on a different day. So when I've looked at this, I really want to go and watch them all again. But so that's my number one, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, 1979. So to round off, Deborah's number one is
Number 4. I was trying to work it out. Number 4 is the Voyager one.
so. What did you
Because,
like about that?
well, I don't want to say it's silly, but I do like sci-fi things when they come back down to Earth and how they interact.
Yeah,
Um,
it was quite good that because
mm,
you saw like a different side of all them, trying to react to the
mm,
to our time in the 80s and all the things going around, the fashions and stuff. And when he's going to a meal, when he's ordering a meal, he doesn't know how to order food.
mm.
You know, you should take some for what you should take it for. I forgot what it was, fish and chips or something. But it was all that bit was really good to me. I
Mm.
thought that would. I mean, the whale thing, the whale thing was so odd,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Who even thought of the getting the whale thing? Maybe the whale thing was a big thing at the time in 1986. Of taking a whale and the whale would speak to a spaceship and tell the spaceship not to actually kill everyone on Earth. All the whales had died out in their time, in the year, God knows what year it is. So all the whales weren't around, so they had to go back in time to go and get the whales, to go and get two whales to repopulate their whales in the future.
Mm.
I mean, it's so simple, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit like Back to the Future, isn't it?
Well, about the future, yeah.
Same kind of-
I mean, all of these sci-fi things all mess about with time, don't they? Yeah. So anyway, that's our rankings of the six Star Wars.
I wish I'd watched them again before we did this. To be better.
Well, actually, I've probably been asking you to do this since the last time I watched them,
Mm.
which was a few months ago. And so, what's the next franchise that we're going to be doing? Do you think? Any idea?
We're going to finish off the series of Star Trek.
Yeah, we'll finish that one off. We'll do that. But we're going to do the $6 million man. Now, if Legend on the TV, if they just put them on right, because when we were watching it, we thought there's something going on here. We saw as we're watching the start of another one, we saw the one where they're talking to 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 George Foreman, and I said, "Where's that one?" You know, and he says, "Oh," and we saw the end of it, and I thought, and he says, "Oh, Steve, I'm glad to see you back to normal." And I thought, well, I haven't even seen him
Abnormal.
abnormal. So there's a lot of things that I tell you what, we're not going to talk about it too much. If anybody wants us to talk about the entire series of $6 Million Man, we might do that one. But the Bionic Woman one, what was that like?
Yeah, that was just a real, wasn't it?
It was so weird.
Within an episode, they were married.
If they were married, but even more. But it's such. I mean, we'll have to watch it in sequence because that's another thing with this legend when they've taped them all, copied them all off the TV. When it's going to go to the next Bionic Woman, it's going to have that on immediately afterwards. And we know there's a few before that, before you get back to the Bionic Woman segment, because she got her own show. And we'll be watching the Bionic Woman shows again sometime as well, because that was so good, wasn't it? The Bionic Woman aspect. Although, I will say before we part, when the Bionic Woman, this is not a spoiler, she becomes bionic, obviously. And at the start of the episode, she's on she's a horse rider. Jimmy Summers, that's her thing. She really likes horse riding, so she's horse riding. And then, because this is what you do. I mean, I've often said to Deborah, you know what we can do today? Let's go skydiving, and we'll just go and jump up the plane just because we've got nothing better to do. So they go out in the plane, don't they? So Steve Austin lands, you know, in the grass, and her thing gets all tangled, so she goes plummeting through a bush and a tree and landing and smash herself to bits and is getting made bionic. So that happened, and Deborah turned around to me and said, What did you say again?"
Thought it was on a horse.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, imagine that after falling off a horse." I said, "She didn't fall off a horse, she fell out of a plane." "Did she? I thought you'd be watching this."
It's his own down.
That's a big zone out. You know, to think like you'd just seen her fall out of a plane and she's lying there smashed up in the thing. And Steve, I tell you what though, as a side note before I sign off, what's Oscar Goldman like in that? Everything he gets, Steve comes in the show, he's always on holiday because he's earned himself a holiday. And then Oscar says, "You can't go on holiday, you've got to do this." And he's going, "I want to go on holiday." And then with Jamie, he said to Oscar, "Can you go and fix and make a bionic?" He's going, "No, I'm not going to do that, will he?" He says, "No, no chance." And he goes, "Oh, you've got him." And he said, "No, I don't think so." And you think, Oscar, you're having a laugh. Well, he's a funny one, him. And up to this point, I thought he was going to crack the other day. Steve Austin has never lost his marbles with Oscar, has he? Because I would have been raging with him. I would have had him up against the wall, maybe banging like, oh, but he just doesn't break, does he? He always just takes it on the chin. We are going to bid you farewell and boldly go where no man has gone before. So,
Thanks for watching,
you take care.
and we'll see you on the next video.
Cheers. So I'll say, so anyway, and you say, thanks for watching. And I'll say, take care. Then you say, we'll see you on the next video. Let's see how that one goes.